Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Inner Conquest, the world's greatest modern metaphysics channel. I'm your host, Jacob Edens, and today we are going to be discussing what it means to make a decision. A decision is the god of death to all other potentialities. So when you think of the word decision, it's important to understand language for what it actually means, right? When you think of something like, let me spell that out. What does that mean? That means spelling. Why is it called a spell? Why is Harry Potter involved in this whole shindig? When you speak, the spoken word resonates at a specific frequency and vibration. So this type of water, okay? If you were to do the water experiment and you were to put rice in this and you speak loving things to this water with the rice would not decay. If you speak hateful things into this, the rice would wither and die. So the vibrational tonality of your speech affects the world around you, okay? So when you have vibrational components in operation around you at all points in time, you want to consciously be aware of the different vibratory resonances that are coming out of you. Because then when you're aware of them, you can control them and aim them and focus them to create what you want, right? So as you understand what it means to make a decision means to decide. So when you have a word that's comparable, like regicide, you kill the king, right? That's what regicide means. You kill the king or queen or whatever, right? So side means to kill. Decide means to kill. Dissect. You choose one pathway and allow the other to die. So when you choose something, you make a decision, you are allowing all other potentialities to die. This goes in line with focus. Focus is selective ignorance. Why is selective ignorance focusing on something? Because when I focus on a coffee cup or I focus on this water, I am choosing to ignore everything around me. And there's lots of stuff I could focus on. I could focus on the lights above my head. I could focus on the door. I could focus on the t-shirt, whatever, right? So focusing is selective ignorance, meaning that I am choosing to ignore everything other than that, and I am placing my awareness on that thing, okay? So when you understand creation and reality from a metaphysical lens of how you're creating your reality, you realize that every circumstance that you have in your life is a byproduct of the state that you have been inhabiting, i.e. aware of, right? So if I'm in a state of chronic fear, what I'm doing is I'm casting out fear vibrations in the same way that if I do the water experiment and I talk into the water and I cast love energy into it, the stuff won't decay. And if I cast hate energy into it, it will decay. The resonant frequency that I'm pushing out, right, is clouding my etheric field of electromagnetism, okay? So when you think of who you are in a physical body, I put that in quotations because your soul is physical. This body is less physical than your actual soul, which is a head trip in of itself, right? But if you do an out-of-body experience, you realize that this thing is a suit you're in, right? When you are glued into this thing, it is done through a toroidal field in your heart, which is like a big magnet, right? So if somebody gets shot in the heart, they go, ah, right? And then what happens? The body gets basically released from the soul and your soul goes up, and you watch 100 different out-of-body or near-death experiences. They're always sitting there looking at their body. You see it in movies. They're like, what the heck? I got killed. So you're glued into this thing through magnetism, right? And that magnetism can be programmed. That's what you could call subconscious programming. That can also be iterated as the subroutines that your body autonomically runs to keep itself in movement, such as your heart, your breathing, and things like that. But from a pure frequency lexicon, what you are doing is you're pushing out vibratory resonance and you're attracting things that are in alignment with that, right? So if you want to use a law of attraction lexicon, you can think of meetups, right? So say your frequency is sad boy or sad girl. You're always sad boy or sad girl, okay? What happens? You meet up with other sad boy and sad girl people of that frequency, right? You see a bunch of emo people hanging out together. You see a bunch of jocks hanging out together. You see a bunch of winners hanging out together. You see a bunch of losers hanging out together. So what you want to understand is that the frequency you're emitting is a vibrational tonality that keys you into a bandwidth of reality because every frequency is available to you, right? So the way that you change that is through your thinking and the emotional quality of how you feel. If you feel great, right? Hey, we're going to win today. Or if you feel bad, you essentially wake up on the wrong side of the bed, right? What happened to him? Oh, he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Why would it matter what side of the bed you woke up on? And why would that affect the rest of your day? Really think about these things that we say, right? Well, that's because the state within which the day was positioned will chronically carry through the day, meaning that whatever vibrational resonance I was this morning, I can keep in that energy field easy, right? So as you understand that thought and emotion build out your energetic signature, now you can begin to refine that to a signature of I am who I want to be and I have what I want to have. Because if you're in a chronic pattern of not having what you want, that is designated as what you would call a non-fulfillment reality, meaning that your vibrational output and your thought processes have one thing in common, and that's that they implicate that you don't have things the way that you want. So when that happens, what happens is because we've been trained to externalize power external to us, we go, oh no, I don't feel so good. I need to go and do something to fix it. But you're not a human doing, you're a human being, meaning that no matter where you go, you're emanating this frequency signature. So if you go and do something, it may fix it externally, which gives you permission to change that signature, but then you're dependent on doing that thing. This can happen with things like working out. I need to work out every morning or else I don't feel good. Well, now you're a slave to working out every morning because you don't understand that the intrinsic nature of your reality is constructed through your beingness. And that's liberating because you get to choose who you want to be independent of any other person, right? No, you need to do this or else you won't be successful, right? That's another person telling you their mental framework of how you have to operate, right? So once you get out of that mind trap and you understand that, oh, who I am gets reflected, and that's really, really good because now the power position's in my court, my side of the court, you decide on what you want, meaning that when you make a decision, right? So say you're dealing with wealth or you're dealing with health or relationships, and all of them are suboptimal right now. You decide now that they are optimal, you have to face the different fears and aspects of your reality that don't implicate that, right? Oh, this person didn't text me back, probably don't like me. Boom, you have an assumption of a bandwidth of expectation that you're harboring, okay? You need to kill that. What you do by killing that is you retract your awareness from it. You don't go and solve it because then you're validating it. You're like, no, this is a real thing. I need to fix it, right? No, you retract your awareness from it and you place your awareness on what you want. That's the whole premise of scripture of turn the other cheek. It's not to be a huge, softy. It's to understand that you're creating what you focus on and what you think you become. So by exercising discipline, which is the whole aspect of the 12 disciples as scripture interpreted through the lexicon of each individual being a representation of a state of consciousness and or quality of mind versus just a story. You discipline, which means your mind is under your control and executes your functions as the Lord commands, right? So you command your mind, you command your space, and you allow your mind to operate on your behalf. But if you have a mind that's always attacking you all the time, oh no, look at scary stuff. No, you actually suck, right? You have to kill those potentialities. And the way that you kill that is through your focus, meaning that you retract your awareness from them because they can only exist through your inhabitancy of that state. This is the process of binding and loosing. If you are in a chronic state of not wanted, it's like a Chinese finger trap. The more you fight it, the more you bind to it. The more you feel into it, the more you bind to it. So the process is of letting it go. You decouple from it, and then you choose the state that you want and you bind to that, like you put on a new jacket or a new pair of shoes. Nope, I'm this. And that's law of assumption, right? If I put on a new state, I understand that my external world was pushed out of me through the old state that I had. So I'm new, but my old world is still the reflection of the previous state. So I can't get caught up in the external world or else I'm trapped, right? If I am embodying new state, big boy, big girl, running around, having what he or she wants internally, and then externally, it's not quote unquote reflecting. I just have to understand that the reason that that was caused was because of my old state. So the only thing that will affix that back is through focusing on it and or going back to my old state. So you have to kill that potentiality. That's what it means to essentially burn the boats when you're taking an island, right? You destroy your pathway back. You go all in. You focus your entire being of being that version that you want to be, because you understand that the states you inhabit in the fourth dimensional in terms of thoughts and emotions that you identify with are what are going to be reflected. So if I identify with this unwanted state, then it has to be shown to me because I'm always proven right. But if I disidentify with it, there may be a time where my habitual patterning of awareness and focus has been reoriented to that on a daily basis for some time. So I have to consciously, nope, that's not me. Nope, that's not me. Nope, loose. This is who I am. This is who I am. This is who I am. Emotionally, mentally repattern myself, right? But I understand that the power is not external. That's the big thing. You can't have the power be external, because if the power is external, that's in the world of effects, which means that if it's effects that you're trying to change, then you're working at an ineffectual causative point of creation. Thoughts turn into things, right? If you look at the thing and you go, why'd you make me think that? Well, the thought created the thing, so it doesn't make sense. You've inverted your reality, which leads to a hellscape, because now everything doesn't work, right? So you have to understand the internal locus of power. You have to decide what it is you want, and then you focus on that. And then when stuff comes up, you're a horse with blinders. Nope, that's not me. Nope, that's not me. This is who I am. I'm a winner. And you just keep focusing on that until you're bound to that state. In the same way that if somebody asks me my name, I say, my name's Jacob, right? And they go, hey, Kevin. You go, no, that's not me. I'm Jacob. Why do I say that? Why do I not just go, well, maybe it's Kevin. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Because I'm identified with that to the core of my bone marrow. Someone says Jacob in a crowd, right? So when you think about something like a wealth type of identity, I always have more than enough. I'm always taken care of. I have thousands of dollars a day coming into my account. Can you bind to that state in the same way that you bind to your own name? Seeing an account balance? No, that's not me. I crush, right? That is the process. So I know you guys enjoyed the video. What I want to tell you today is that I have a new starter packet for the Modern Metaphysics protocol in the link tree. It essentially summarizes not even close to everything that's in that, but it gives you a good foundational grasp if you want to see some of my work and kind of how I think and operate as well. It's a free packet on the link tree for you to check out, followed by the full Modern Metaphysics protocol, which includes 6 hours of coaching with your boy. On top of that, you've got Spartan 1, which is the big boy, which is the full human optimization, as well as the different coaching and email apparatuses through which you can ask me one-off questions and things of that nature. But most important thing is, I love you guys. Go conquer, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.